Today, we relaunched the world-class SRT Performance Division.
Stellantis just posted a short video announcing the return of SRT, and it dropped it across the Dodge, Jeep, and Ram YouTube channels, but for some reason not Chrysler. And if you caught the audio, you caught the words, and you caught the engine sounds layered underneath the video, you know exactly what they are hinting at. And what if I told you that I think this entire video was hinting at the return of the Dodge Viper, and some of the engine sounds that's layered in the video hint at some truly awesome SRT machines on the horizon. Okay, well, over 45,000 friends and the 66% of you guys who are watching these videos but not subscribed, help a butter out by hitting the subscribe button, and come on, just do it. Do it. Do it.
Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Sitting on over 500 acres, our 5.4 million square foot North American headquarters is the second largest building in the US. But 36 years ago, 4 years before this building was completed, a very small group of engineers created something special.
If you know your Mopar history, then you know what happened 36 years ago. The Dodge Viper project was born. That original Viper concept, that renegade idea inside Chrysler, started in 1989 by a small group of engineers. And you'll see that pretty much every word has a hidden meaning in this short. And my dear friend Tim Kuniskis and his media machine, they just love to hide clues in videos, photos, and even websites.
Now, if that wasn't enough, and you're really paying attention, and you're really quick with the math, and you paid attention to the cars outside, you counted 7 car covers, and I said, look for 6. That 7th car, right there, under the wraps, that car is destined for SEMA this year, and it is destined for the history books. If you doubt me, check the license plate, because I can guarantee you that's the clue.
Now, for this video, once you break down the transcript of it, I think it is very clear that they are talking about the return of the Dodge Viper. Now, in this section of the video right here,
That to this day fuels a subculture, both inside this complex and the auto industry as a whole.
Now, in this section of the video, I think it is pretty clear the impact the Dodge Viper had on the automotive industry, and each version gets better and better. Even now to this day, the Dodge Viper is still highly desirable, not many are around, and the Viper still holds records that even after being in production for like several years, they still have plenty of records. Now, inside the complex, Ralph Giles, the biggest regret that he talked about last year was that he never got a new Viper project up and running. But now that Callbacks is gone, I think that is going to change.
The thing I fought for but didn't get. Is that what you asked me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Probably a Gen 6 Viper. Well, I wanted to get a paddle shift system in the Viper. We could not package it. I don't know if that would have saved the car. I think it's one of those cars that now that it's gone, people appreciate it more. But when it came out, everyone was like, well, it doesn't have paddle shift. It doesn't have this, doesn't have it. You know, because we were broke. We made the car literally exiting bankruptcy. I don't even know how we got that car approved because we had a lot of bigger fish to fry at the time. So yeah, it was a miracle, baby.
The name has changed a couple of times, and it even went quiet recently.
What other Chrysler era performance cars had gone through multiple name changes like the Viper? It was first the Dodge Viper in the first few generations, then it was SRT Viper in 2013, 2014, and then it went back being the Viper again in 2015 before it got killed off in 2017. SRT as a whole will be killed off 4 years later in 2021, and then now 4 years after that, it returns in 2025. The rest of the video is almost too perfect to not be a very subtle hint at a Dodge Viper.
But it is time now for us to harness our past, to accelerate harder and faster towards our future. So today we start recruiting, we start rebuilding, and we refire the machine. We stop being quiet and we get loud again.
These words sound like something they are talking about reviving and something becoming legendary again. Recruiting, that probably sounds like them having to rebuild their Viper team back up, especially after Callbacks laid off a bunch of engineers over the past few years. And then the part about rebuilding, they have to find a new home for the Viper and the VT engine to be built at. Now they have Connor as a museum that used to make the Viper, and basically the museum only holds like all the old concept cars and meetings and stuff. And they really need to find some place where they can open up and actually make the Viper again. So, I mean, for right now, they got an open plant sitting over there in Belvedere. So maybe if the Viper comes back, they could take a section of that plant and build Vipers there. Maybe they can have a section maybe in Jefferson where they build the actual Durango and some of the Grand Cherokees there. Because honestly, I don't know why they use two plants to build the Grand Cherokee and the actual Durango. I'm pretty sure they can put both of them on one line and use Jefferson for something else. But they can also use like maybe Warren Truck, use a section of that plant to build a Viper. I mean, there are plenty of options in order for Stellantis to make the Viper somewhere. It just depends on where SRT will basically build, I guess, their little base of operations to build the Viper, and maybe this sports car that Dodge had hinted at that they was going to be making that's supposed to be around like $30,000 range. Also, the part about in this video, we're talking about they're going to refire the machine. I mean, to me, that's basically just them talking about some engine work, easily hinting that they're working on engines from the past, because I got a friend of mine who sent me this little hint right here that Dodge was basically starting to work on a new Viper engine, and they was benchmarking it against the actual C8 ZR1. And if you go listen to the background audio, you'll hear two things that I've noticed. First, it sounds like a 392 Hemi rumble, and then it sounds like a 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi whine.
Harder and faster towards our future. So today we start recruiting.
Those are the kind of sounds that belong on SRT Beast. And I wonder if this right here is a clue that SRT branded vehicles are going to have 392s and 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi engines. And another thing that I noticed, there was no Hurricane sounds in this actual clip. So only V8s are going to be SRT branded products. Now that's one thing I heard from people telling me a while ago, that originally before Costavera screwed everything up, the SRT branded vehicles, performance vehicles, only going to be actual V8s and not Hurricanes and stuff. So it looked like this is basically going back to revert back to basically only having V8 powered performance vehicles like this for SRT. These V8 engines, they definitely belong to SRT Beast, not, you know, plug-in crossovers that was Tim Kniss' brand new little friend.
This is the Hornet GLH from Direct Connection and my new best little friend. This thing is a blast.
Or like, you know, with Dodge having a sound bar on the back of their car. I didn't hear none of that sounds. I didn't hear no Hurricanes. I didn't hear no sound bars. I didn't hear none of that stuff in this actual SRT is back video. I just heard straight up V8 muscle. It was straight up just that stinking cologne of like V8 gasoline, and hopefully E85. That way they can actually, all the technology they put into D170 to bring over E85 and that sensor on the engine, hopefully they bring that out to more SRT branded vehicles, because that's a heck of a savings to have to spend on the $2 and change for some gas compared to spending like almost $4 a gallon for some 93 octane. And you know, maybe for SRT branded vehicles, you're gonna have a 392 baseline, a 6.2, and maybe a couple different configurations, and then at the top end, you're gonna have like a V10 engine from Stellantis or SRT. Like, I don't know how exactly they're gonna do their SRT branded stuff, but 392 entry level, 6.2 over there in the middle part, and then a V10, the very top goodness. I mean, this is just speaking my language here. Like, the words in this video, they sound like Viper coded language. And like I said, Tim Kniss loves to hide stuff in videos, words, pictures, websites and stuff. He just loves hiding stuff here and there. So there is no way, after seeing this actual short, there's no way I don't see like a Viper being shown off in like the next 2 years, right? Now, 2 years is basically gonna be like the 10-year anniversary of the last Dodge Viper. And I'm gonna call it now that I'm thinking that maybe a great time to show off a Viper will probably be at Roadkill Nights, maybe like 2027. Now, to me, that would be an awesome time to show off a production car, or maybe a prototype car, or maybe a concept car on the 10 years since the last Dodge Viper was made. We've seen way too many hints, clues, and Easter eggs that Dodge put out there to basically just confirm they are working on a Viper, but this secrecy Like, I understand why they didn't just come out and say that, yeah, we're working on the Viper, stay tuned, because it's going to be very exciting. I mean, there's way too many things going on since Tavares got kicked out to basically just kind of like, you know, trying to dull the flames out. But people want this car back. And it's not like it's a problem to say, yeah, we're exploring on working on this car, right? I mean, we've seen the Easter eggs that Dodge put out there in the Daytona portal, where they got the Viper on the lift that look like they're getting worked on and stuff. We've seen the tracks on the wall in that portal, and some of those tracks are basically linked to the actual Viper setting track records there. We've seen the clock on the wall pointing to 1013, which is like V10 with Dinosaur 13 for 1013 on that wall. Then you got the other clues on the wall for other SRT products that they could actually offer as well too. So the Viper one, I can see why not just say that, yeah, we're just exploring if the Viper makes sense for us or something like that. Like, why not go ahead and admit it rather than putting Easter eggs out there for people to interpret that? And then the other SRT stuff is out there, right? Like Dodge put that Cuda logo on the wall. They want people to actually talk about it and stuff. Why put the logo on the wall, right? I mean, and I've seen like other situations where some other Plymouth names were getting tossed around because they're going to be like SRT only Plymouth, SRT only vehicles with Plymouth names on there, right? And I heard the Duster, that's another one that I've heard is getting tossed around in the background that Stellantis has an active trademark for currently. So there's nothing to say they won't bring back an SRT Duster in the future. Now, there's something happening behind the scenes, and now we know for sure that Tim Kuniskis is behind a lot of it because he's now the head of SRT and all the basic performance vehicles in the North American brands. And so I don't think this is a coincidence that all those Easter eggs got kind of thrown out a few months before this was going on. And plus, I heard that Dodge is actually benchmarking a C8 ZR1. So if they're benchmarking a ZR1, what's the point of doing so? I mean, where is the two-door sports car that's currently in Dodge's lineup to test against, right? We already know the Maserati MC20 gets destroyed by a C8 Z06 in Edmund's video. So why are you benchmarking a ZR1? I mean, I'm just saying. And like the other thing that is kind of like with this whole situation with SRT coming back, a lot of these journalists who was actually there and actually got all this inside information and stuff, they weren't really clear what's going to happen with SRT. How are they coming back? Are they coming back just offering trim packages on cars? Or are they coming back as like a performance sub brand like AMG? Like, how is SRT going to actually be working, right? Will cars have like SRT like only on the window stickers and no SRT badges on the actual vehicle? Because there has been some vehicles that were made by SRT that were actually worked on SRT, but no badges on the actual vehicle. Will there be vehicles that were worked on SRT, but there's nothing on the window sticker or no badges on the actual vehicle? So will they follow a traditional like naming structure like they did with the actual like the Dodge vehicles, where you have like the brand name Dodge, you got the base car Challenger, then you got SRT in the name, and then you finally got a trim name like Hellcat, Red Eye, Super Stock, Demon 170. That's what I'm saying. It's all SRT products, regardless of the brands. Going forward, are they gonna have SRT badges on the actual car? Are they gonna have them on the actual window sticker? Like, what is gonna actually go on with this? Like, would these SRT branded vehicles or SRT labeled vehicles have like red keys like Hellcats and Demons were? And I think the Trackout had it. But then, you know, my TRX, like I said, it was worked on by SRT and it has little red in the actual back part of the key. But will, let's say the TRX come out, will it be an SRT TRX? And would this key right here be red the next time? So, like I said, these are just things that I would have asked if I was actually invited to these little sessions to ask more thorough questions. So I'm just saying that, you know, just saying. But to me personally, if I had a TRX and it was going to be worked on by SRT, maybe that's why there's rumors going out there that TRX is going to have basically more power. I would love to see the TRX have a situation where it is SRT powered, whatever, and it has a red key and also has like an SRT badge like in the grill, kind of like with the Durango and like with the actual Challenger and Charger and stuff. So that's why I would like to ask a lot of questions and stuff if I was actually able to go to those events, because I'd be like, you know, are we going to see, you know, name structure like Charger SRT Hellcat or Charger SRT Demon 170, or if they bring the Trackhawk back, it's going to come back as the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT Trackhawk. You know, when the TRX comes back, will it be the Ram 1500 SRT TRX? when the Viper maybe comes back would be like the Dodge Viper SRT ACR or GTR or whatever they're gonna call it. Maybe, you know, if they actually decide to actually make the Cuda, since they had the logo on the wall, would it be like a Dodge Charger SRT Cuda? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just having a lot of questions on how they're gonna actually name these cars going forward. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is the Dodge Viper really coming back? Do you guys think that SRT is gonna be the AMG of the brand and they're gonna bring us some really great vehicles? And do you guys think they're gonna use some of these Plymouth names from that old brand that's defunct right now? Do you think they're going to use that name for some of their SRT branded vehicles, like sitting on top of the Charger, for example? But let me know what you guys think down below, and you can drop your comments down there. Oh yeah, and while you're doing that, if you want to check a video about the Cuda coming back, for example, you can check out this video right here that I made about the Cuda and all his Easter eggs I found at Dodge Charger Daytona portal. And while you're watching that video, until the next time, I'm out.